welcome to We Wyman Ever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
Tonight we're talking about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5, Episode 2, Walking on a Tightrope.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to give some information that we mentioned last week on the episode. So we were talking about Meredith having the breast reduction surgery 3 times, and I looked it up, and it does say that breast growth can occur after breast reduction surgery, but the likelihood of regrowth is low. It also says that some reasons for breast growth after reduction surgery include medications, certain medications such as birth control or hormone replacement.
Oh, that makes sense.
Can affect breast size, or also, I guess, revision surgeries. I guess the scar tissue, I don't know, but that's the one thing I wanted to clarify. I mean, I still think there's probably more to that than we're...
I don't ever believe anything Meredith says. So,
No.
But I'll tell you what, I've gone back and forth about getting a reduction in lift.
Mm-hmm.
And if I made, because I'm a scaredy cat, I don't just go for surgery. If I finally took the jump and did it, and then they grew back.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Would be furious.
Yeah,
I would be furious.
I don't blame you. I'd be furious too. And then the other thing we had mentioned is that we thought that Mary Cosby was getting a divorce, and that is not true. She shut down those rumors. They started just ahead of the season 5, and she said, don't believe the lies. So we can clarify that. Mary Cosby is not getting a divorce.
I would imagine that she and her husband have an arrangement. If he's living in Las Vegas more months out of the year than he is in Utah, they have some kind of arrangement, and that's perfectly fine and works for them and good for them, and have at it.
Exactly.
Yep.
So we start with Bronwyn and Lisa. They're talking about the party and how Whitney came in hot. Bronwyn is saying how she was upset that Angie didn't have Lisa's back, which I thought was odd. Like, why does Bronwyn care?
Yeah.
That
right.
Angie didn't have Lisa's back. That's what Lisa's gripe was. And then all of a sudden, Angie calls while they're in the car together because she wants to, have a sit down with Lisa one-on-one so she can discuss it. And then we see Whitney, Brooks, Bobby, and Justin. They're all unpacking because we saw her new house that she just moved into. We saw Mary talking to her son, Robert.
Yes, I liked that scene, quite honestly. So he's still at home and no mention of his wife.
Yeah, that was odd.
Yeah. But I liked seeing him. I think I read he had gotten into some trouble with drugs or something.
Yes.
While they weren't filming. But he seems good, and I liked seeing a scene with her and him together.
Yeah. And she, she said he's not in college. She doesn't work. She does give him money, and she has sheltered him. And honestly, I think it's just the two of them living there, or maybe the wife, who knows. And I think she enjoys the company.
I do too. Too. And she clearly has the means, and not that I think that if you're very well off, your kids shouldn't work, but I think that he seems like a good kid, and I think he'll be okay. Like, he'll find his way.
I agree. I totally agree.
I don't think he's going to be one of those kids that's just, out of control and getting himself into trouble and stuff like that. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Then we see Angie's telling her husband about what happened at the party and, how she's going to talk to Lisa about it, but how Lisa actually lunged at Whitney. And she did. I think Lisa was it's only been 2 episodes, but she's been so unhinged.
Yeah, and why are they saying that Whitney came in hot? Did you think Whitney came in hot?
Not at all.
And I'm not a big fan of Whitney. I'll be quite honest with you. I probably like her the least out of everybody on the show, but I did not think she came in hot at all.
I did not either. I don't know why they said that.
Yeah.
Didn't make sense to me. It did not make sense to me. Then she's talking about Bronwyn's daughter. She's telling her daughter Gwen is going to open up a coffee shop. And I like that she supports her in doing that.
Yeah.
And then they go and they pick up Heather. And when Heather gets in the car, Lisa says, you're going to have to tell me how to get to Wendy's. And at first I thought, they have a friend named Wendy.
Me too.
And then, right? And then they wind up at the Wendy's drive-thru.
I thought the same thing. And how does Lisa Barlow not know how to get to Wendy's? Isn't fast food her thing?
That's what I was thinking. Like, how?
I keep hitting this microphone. I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's what I was thinking too. Like I said, I thought it was a friend she was going to.
Yeah, and Wendy's is her friend because she loves her fast food.
And I mean, they must be sponsoring it. Wendy's. I mean, why else are they going to Wendy's unless they're sponsoring it?
Something's going on.
That was weird. I thought that whole thing was weird. So they're talking while they're getting the Wendy's. They're talking about what had happened the night before. Bronwyn and Lisa are still really going in hard on Whitney. And Heather's like, listen, I woke up in the morning and I kind of felt like, maybe we were piling on, like we were ganging up on her.
Yeah.
And Bron was like, no, I don't think so. And really was not being kind at all to Whitney. And I thought, you're new to this group. Just like Heather said, like, you're brand new to this group. Why are you doing this? Because you want to look good for Lisa.
Right.
And this is how you're going to start. You're going to start playing these games.
Yep. Well, that's what all these new housewives, they think that's what they have to do.
Yeah.
Except for Jen Pedranti on OC.
I know. I'm really liking Jen. I really am.
Show your true self.
Then we see Meredith and Seth. They're going to the cooking lesson.
Talking about how Seth has a new job in Ohio, which was where the original one was, but he's traveling more. Really do think that these two have an open marriage. I do think they love each other, and I do think that they're great parents, and they probably have so much fun together when they're with their kids, because they really do seem like fun. But I think they have.
You know what? I don't know if they do or they don't, but I don't really care.
Well, I don't care either. I say have at it. You do you.
Yeah. I'm just not a big fan of hers. I really am not. I think everything she does is so staged. Well, he's in town. I'm gonna take advantage of it. They go and they cook the shakshuka. I can't say that
again. Shakshuka makes another appearance on the Housewives show.
I know. We're gonna have to do a shucks. You're gonna have to do it. I'll do it. Yeah, because I can eat, but I can't cook.
Yeah, I'll do it.
We'll have to do our own little. Yeah, I know you did. But while she's there, she's talking about her heritage and how she's really, with what's going on in the world and what's going on with Israel, that she wants to make her bat mitzvah because her roots are in Jerusalem. And, she grew up with being Jewish, but her family didn't encourage the females to get bat mitzvahed. Now, this whole thing is, I call BS.
Oh, I call BS right behind you. For sure. How many bat mitzvahs? I went to quite a few bat mitzvahs. I don't know how old Meredith is, but I will tell you that I grew up with, a handful of
50s, at least,
who were Jewish, and I went to their bat mitzvahs. Bat mitzvahs were certainly a thing for girls in Brick, New Jersey, back in the 80s and 90s. Right. So I don't know where you were, Meredith, but I call BS right along with you. And I think she's doing this for a storyline.
I do too. Mm-hmm. I do too. Just like the whole manufactured going to learn how to cook. Mm-hmm. And then in her kitchen, because I'm going to jump to it because it was irritating to me. In the kitchen with Chloe walks in and Brooks comes in and she's making bath salts. Come on. I mean, seriously, this is all you have to talk about is making bath salts and you're getting your bat mitzvah. And I did think, like, was Seth fake crying? Like,
I mean, could he possibly really shed a tear over that?
That's what
I mean,
I just was like, is he that good of an actor? Or I don't know.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good. But that was a fake cry. He produced tears, which is more than Tamra does.
That's so.
But that was a fake cry.
So true. It's so true. Mm-hmm. That whole thing is the.
The coming attractions of her saying that Whitney's selling things for $20, $30 more, whatever she's saying. It's like, here you go again. Like the one year you were saying that Lisa was sleeping with some guy to get jazz tickets. Mm-hmm. Last year you were all over Angie K and her husband saying he's secretly gay. And now it's like, what are you doing? Just live your life and stop coming for your co-stars.
Yeah. There's not been a single season that I have liked Meredith.
Me neither.
And I'm usually like, I give them a chance and maybe they grow on me, but there's nothing that she has done that I like.
No.
Not one season.
I don't like Brooks either, quite honestly. But whatever. I'll tolerate him.
Her son you're talking about.
The son, yeah.
Yeah, well, at least him we don't see that often.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
I mean, so then Lisa and Angie meet up, and Lisa feels like she has been such a good friend to her all these years. I mean, that's what she keeps harping on. She's been such a good friend, and how dare you not have my back, and how dare you tell Whitney something I told you in confidence. And Angie says she felt like it was a gang up. And it was. It absolutely was a gang up.
I just feel like Lisa never listens to people. And I like Lisa, but she bulldozed that conversation. She really got to the point where Angie couldn't say anything. She wasn't listening. She wasn't receiving anything.
This is exactly what I wrote down. Lisa is not letting Angie talk. Angie's trying to explain that sometimes you don't understand and you talk over people and you don't mean to it, but that's exactly what is happening right then and there. Like, she wouldn't even let her talk, which is exactly what Angie was trying to explain to her.
Yeah.
Like, she just wouldn't let her get away. And then when she just gets up and leaves.
Yeah, she's like, okay, so I'll talk to you soon. Nothing was resolved.
Right. Okay, love you.
Absolutely nothing. Right.
She even said, I love you. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's like a condescending love you.
Yeah, I hope we can continue the conversation. I mean, why couldn't you continue it then?
We could do it right now because I'm here.
Right. It didn't make any sense.
But okay.
Okay, so then we go to Bronwyn's house. Those cobalt blue lacquered kitchen cabinets.
I did see it. I honestly, you tell me what you think. I thought they were in like an office. I thought they were in like an office building.
The outside of the outside of the house,
like inside. Like I thought it was like a kitchen in like an office.
Well, I think the layout was a little odd, but it was hard to tell what the layout was because they were doing that cinematography that Lori was talking about last week.
Yes.
Like they're like taking you like you're walking. But I thought I rewound it. I was like, because I was like, I loved it because I'd never seen anything like it before.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It's that I really had never seen anything like it before. And then I even rewound it again to see the outside of the house because the outside of the house is ugly. Like it does look like an office building. Like it's got no curb appeal. It's got no character. Yeah. And I was trying to figure out the rooms because it was hard to tell the size and the scale of the rooms because she really didn't have much furniture. Like we find out she has been there 18 months and hasn't really decorated the house.
Yeah. I liked when she was like, people are going to start thinking like we're creeps or something because I never let them come to my house. I thought that was so funny because I would feel the same way.
Mm-hmm. So I did like that. And we find out a little bit about her husband, Todd.
Yeah.
Because she's, CEO
of Palm Pilot. He must have made bank with that.
Yeah, but that's not where he's making his money now. Now he's doing private equity and is in New York 2 to 3 days a week.
Yeah, that's crazy. He flies there.
Yeah.
And he ran the torch at the 2012 Olympics.
Yes, for London.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I was very impressed with him. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I thought that little Louis Vuitton box that he opened up was very cool, too. It was like a little chest for, I guess, his knickknacks on his... I don't know where he put that, but I thought it was cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
I didn't get that designer's name that showed up. Did you get his name?
I did not.
It's okay. So then they all of a sudden start unboxing the sculpture that has been sitting there for 8 months.
Chairs with a light installation. You know what I thought of? Did you watch Sex and the City?
Yeah.
Okay. So remember when she was dating the Russian and they had to go to Paris for his light installation debut? So all I could think about was that.
I thought that was the weirdest thing I'd ever seen. And I also thought it was weird that she's opening it and Todd says to her, you should probably get scissors. She's like, I should get scissors? Oh, okay. He's like, I'll go upstairs and get them.
Yeah, like she was like, you want me to go get scissors? And he was like, I'll be right back. Let me go get them. Like, does she not know where they are? Or does she just not, is that just not something she does? She doesn't go get scissors.
So my first thought is, does she know how old he is? She's sending him upstairs. Right. But then she started talking to the designer. I was like, oh no, she wanted to talk about things when he wasn't around. Mm-hmm. Because that's what she said. We'll have to talk about the closet when he's not here. But
hysterical.
Yeah. Oh, and that's that sculpture that there is a version in the Guggenheim. Did you pick that up too?
Yes, I heard her say that.
Where's the Guggenheim? Is that in D.C. or New York?
I thought it was New York. Let me Google it though, because Siri, where is the Guggenheim?
You'll need to turn on location services for that. Well, first you have to tell me where you are.
No, I don't. I just absolutely do not have to tell you where I am.
All right, listen, I'm going to find out and I'll let you know next podcast.
Actually, yeah, it's in New York. It's in New York.
It's in New York. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, maybe we will make a trip to
Siri.
Maybe we'll make a trip to the Guggenheim and see if there is
We should go see the chair light installation.
Yes, right?
Yeah, we need to go to New York.
Okay, we're going to the Guggenheim.
And then we'll go to Lip Lab.
Okay, I'm in. So we find out a little bit. She was 19 when she got pregnant with Gwen, and the father's not involved at all. And she's very close with her daughter because of that. I mean, it's just been the two of them.
The two of them, yeah.
Then Heather and Whitney are meeting up, and they're going into the crystal shop. I think Heather was joking when she said you can pick out any crystal you want up to $500 because those crystals are like $5, right?
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
She had to be joking. I think, yeah, she had to be joking. And then Heather says, "Can you pick a crystal that would have helped with that dinner the other night?" And when she says, "I don't think so. I felt like I was ganged up on." And Whitney's saying, like you also were yelling at me to Heather. And Heather apologized. Ultimately, Heather apologized. She said, "You know what? I shouldn't have piled on as well. I shouldn't have, jumped on that bandwagon. I should have, had your back." And then she goes on to say how she wants to invite everybody to
Milwaukee. Yeah. But I do agree with Heather when she said to Whitney, like, you just basically, like, you just want to be in your feelings and you don't want anybody to like have an opinion about it or call you out for it. And I do agree with Heather about that. Like, Whitney's a little immature, in my opinion, in that respect, where I don't think it's like an all about me, like narcissistic, selfish thing. I think it's her age, quite honestly. I think she's like this is how I feel.
Yeah, but the thing is, she did make this point, and I kind of agreed with her about it. Everyone was yelling at her that she was lying, but what was she lying about? So she said on the podcast that she thought Lisa was a villain. I mean, that's her opinion, right? It's not like it's a factual thing. She said to Heather that she wasn't happy with what was written in the book. Again, those are her feelings. She may have agreed to it earlier and then read it again and felt a certain way about it. Again, those are her feelings. And the Meredith thing, what was that about? I mean, was it about the bath bombs? Like, I don't understand why Meredith is so bothered by Whitney.
I think that the Meredith thing had something to do with Monica. Remember all those DMs and they were trying to say it was Meredith? And when the big reveal that Monica was whatever that person was
Reality
called.
Von Teese.
Yes, but thank you.
Everybody was blaming it on Meredith. It wasn't just Whitney.
And just because we learned that Monica was Reality Von Teese does not mean that Meredith was not sending those DMs. Meredith very well could have been sending those DMs, and I would 100% believe it.
Right.
So the Heather thing, I think if Whitney read it and didn't say it, and then Heather published it, you can't really be mad at her. You knew it was coming out. If I hear the word trauma bond or trauma is like the word of the season, and I'm kind of over it.
Yeah, I agree with that. 100% agree with that. So they're going to go to Milwaukee to go to Trixie's new bar.
That's awesome.
And it's so funny because just last week I said, I want you guys to do fun stuff. Why don't you go back to Trixie's motel? And here we are. Yeah. They're going to Trixie's bar.
Yeah.
I will be honest with you. I don't really know that I would want to go to Milwaukee though either.
I just think of Laverne and Shirley.
Me too.
And it can't possibly still look like that. So
hope not.
I'm very interested to see what Milwaukee looks like right now.
I agree. I totally agree.
I definitely thought of Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So then Whitney says she met up with Bronwyn and she thinks that she's really cool and that, now that she's made up with Heather, that, she can come, but she still has this issue with Lisa. So Heather's like, well, listen, I'm going to do this like bonding thing with the girls. So maybe you can fix it there. I'm going to do the ropes, the ropes
Another
course.
Team building bonding session for a Housewives franchise. I mean,
right.
The days were numbered that Salt Lake City was going to have to jump on board of this.
Yeah.
OC's done it. Jersey's done it.
It's true.
I don't think the Beverly Hills girls will ever do it, but maybe they'll surprise us.
I'm looking forward to this season of Beverly Hills.
Me too.
Okay, good.
Me too.
So the next we see Brittany and Heather, they're going to play pickleball. And Brittany says that her mom had her own pickleball court in her yard because her HOA would not let her build a full tennis court. And this was totally produced because they didn't really know how to play pickleball. So the producers had to, actually Heather did. And yeah, so they played their little pickleball. And then Brittany opens up a little bit about her relationship with Jared, that she has been married and divorced twice, which that's a lot because I don't think she's that old.
Well,
and
it's a lot. And what she said about Mormonism, you can get into heaven without kids, but not without a husband. That
was crazy. When Heather interjected about that, in the confessional, like she understood that. And I think it explains a lot. It explains a lot about Salt Lake City and the secret lives of Mormon wives. Like, I think it explains a lot,
Yeah, like you have to prioritize your marriage over your kids.
And in what world does that happen?
Well,
I think this is the only world, because then we do see.
I don't know though. I think in the Catholic faith, it's like God first, then your partner, then your kids. I'm gonna check on that. But I'll tell you what, I have a friend, I'm not very close with her anymore, but I went to her bridal shower, and this is when we were all getting married, early 2000s. And her mother said at her bridal shower, you have to prioritize your spouse. And that does mean prioritize them over your kids. Because once your kids are out of your house, it's just you and him. And I always, I wasn't raised like that. My parents always put us first.
Yeah.
Eric and I do the same thing. We prioritize our kids over each other. Hopefully we're not making a mistake.
Well, I think you'll be.
I'll let you know. To be continued. No. But that's just what we do because that's what our parents did for us.
Right. Yeah. I was very surprised about that. Mm-hmm. And she also tells us how she met Jared Osmond, is that her ex-husband and his ex-fiance started dating. And he found out and let her know. And at first they were trauma bonding also.
Right.
And then they started dating. And we hear it again. She's broken up 16 times in 8 months, which is insane.
A lot.
It's insane. And then she does say that, she sacrificed her kids for a man. And Heather's like, well, what happened? And she's like, I'll tell you one day. She didn't.
Because two of her daughters. We don't even know that yet.
Not yet, but yeah.
Right.
So then we see Angie at her salon, and Bronwyn comes in.
Did you see that they flashed to a week earlier and it wasn't done?
Yeah, because I did see that, but I think they were referring to. She said they are opening their 10th location. So I think that week earlier was their 10th location that's not open yet.
I'm like, damn, they got shit done in a week.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, because I did see that. I was like, oh, no, wait. She just said they're opening their 10th. Listen, that alone is impressive. That's a huge salon.
Especially for the amount of years they've been in business.
Yeah.
20-something years. That's outstanding. I mean, I think All Dolled Up just celebrated 20 years, if I'm not mistaken. But that's outstanding for a salon to be in business that long and expand to 10 locations.
Yes. Yeah. I was very impressed with that. I really was. So I thought that Bronwyn was just going in to catch up with Angie, but it turns out, I guess she had an appointment, and because she was getting her head massaged while they were talking, and
she must have been getting some kind of conditioning treatment because you saw the guy taking sections and putting stuff on it.
Yeah. And then Bronwyn says how she loves Lisa and what Whitney was saying wasn't wrong. Well, that's funny because that's not what you were saying in the car with Heather and Lisa.
Right.
That's the exact opposite of what you were saying in the car.
Right.
With Heather and Lisa. So that immediately, I was like, oh, come on. Mm-hmm. Really? Now you're saying this to Angie? When also you were giving Angie a hard time for even telling Whitney.
Right. Did you pick up on, I thought Angie said that she and Brittany were bowling the day before. Did you pick up on that? I'm going to have to rewatch it because I could swear when she was talking to Bronwyn about Brittany.
Okay.
She said, we were just bowling yesterday. I should have, I didn't start this episode until 11 o'clock last night. So I wasn't going to rewind and listen to it back, but I will do that.
What I did write down, Bronwyn is saying that she doesn't think she's going to get along with Brittany because her comment about her heart jacket. I guess there was, continued comments about the heart jacket even after the party.
That's why Angie brought up. That's why I thought she brought up bowling, because she said Brittany was still talking about it.
Okay, maybe she did. I'll be honest with you.
Wherever Angie saw her after the party, she was still talking about it. And I thought she said we just went bowling. And I thought, well, if they went bowling, why didn't they film it? And why didn't we see a scene? Even if it was a quick scene, why didn't we see a scene?
Yeah, maybe there wasn't enough. Because whatever. Yeah, good point, though. I missed that because I'll be honest with you. I watched this during my lunch break today.
Oh.
And I didn't finish watching it because I thought it was only an hour and it was an hour and 15. So I had to stop and, you know how that goes.
I do know how it goes. I do.
So then they get to the zip line place and that girl, Mealy, I don't know how. Mealy, Mary, Lisa, Whitney, Brittany, Bronwyn, and Meredith all show up. But Meredith is not going to do it because she has tennis elbow. I mean, she had to be joking.
She's just so full of shit. And listen,
from churning butter.
I have a fear of heights. I wouldn't go up there either. Or it would have taken me a Xanax and some real talking to get up there. But tennis elbow, Meredith, from churning butter that you did last season. You did that last season.
Right. Listen, I agree with you 100%. I was so surprised and to see Mary did it. I thought for sure Mary was going to bail.
Me too.
I was very proud of Mary. Meredith, if you're not going to do it because you're afraid of heights and you think you're better than them, just say that. Don't lie and say you have tennis elbow.
I think Mary got a lot of flack last season for not participating in things, and maybe she's trying. Listen, like you said last week, and I totally agree with you. I'm enjoying Mary so far this season. Except when she said, I thought Mealy was much thinner than that. Did you hear her say that?
Down. I did hear her say.
She's got to stop fat shaming people, Mary. Body shaming. Nobody's fat. Stop body shaming.
She doesn't even realize she's doing it. Like, it's not that that's an excuse. I mean, it is an excuse.
I would never want to be around her. I would be so self-conscious.
I don't know. Honestly, I'm still enjoying her despite that comment.
I'm enjoying her for sure.
I really am.
Absolutely.
Oh, and then when they're up there, Whitney says, I'm never giving a hand job again because this hurts. What?
Yeah, and she's borderline Tamara on this. With her explanation. Because it's like you're under a desk reaching up, which she has been. So we all know she was Justin's side piece before she was his wife. So that's such a dig to his ex-wife that you clearly did that with him.
Right.
And his children with his ex-wife. Like, very disrespectful.
I agree. Not necessary.
She's just like very immature, Whitney.
Yeah, it just wasn't necessary, right?
No.
So then they finish that after Mary makes that comment, and they all go to the food truck. And I thought Mary was very engaging. I mean, even her order. Listen, I'm here for it. The
Do you
comments.
Want salsa? No.
It'll give me gas.
It'll give me gas.
So then Brittany gets up and she makes the announcement that although her and Jared are on and off again, he brought her a ring and he made it Instagram official when he asked her to be his girlfriend.
And then they fact check it. And
Lisa says no.
Did not.
Right. He did not. Lisa said
Instagram official.
Right. And Mary says, why do we care? Brittany says, rude. Mary says, like you were to me last time. Lisa says she feels like Jared is working her over. And Whitney agrees that because she's been out to dinner with them, which she would have a little bit of insight, right?
For sure.
She agrees with Lisa. And the fact that she even agrees with Lisa,
Right. Speaks volumes.
Yeah. Then Brittany says that she has a complicated relationship and she doesn't speak to either of her daughters. And she doesn't want to talk about it. She says it's personal. And Mary says, but you're telling me about your boyfriend. So why can't you tell me this story? And then she goes on in her confessional and we hear that, listen, this really triggers her. It reminds her of her mother, who all she cared about was her man. Meanwhile, she had 5 children at home that she wasn't taking care of and she wasn't feeding and she wasn't there for. And it really triggers her. And she would never do that to her son, Robert, which that makes sense.
For sure.
That makes sense.
She didn't grow up poor.
No.
Brittany misread. And I don't think Brittany comes with any ill intent. I think she misread what Mary was saying during the conversation last week. She grew up poor, but she grew up with an absent mom.
Right.
And she's not Mormon. So it wasn't.
She's Christian.
She's Christian.
Right. I know. I thought that was very interesting, especially since they got off on the wrong foot to begin with. Like, I don't really think that relationship is going to turn around, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. You
do remember first season, Mary basically said her mother thought it should be her that married Robert when her mother passed.
Yes. And she doesn't speak to her mother. Like, we know that she doesn't speak to her mother.
So maybe her mom was always trying to find that, for lack of a better word, sugar daddy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And was so bent when he married Mary.
I mean, it would make sense, too, if it was her grandmother, because her grandmother was probably the one taking care of her when her mother wasn't around.
For sure.
So that's why she, I don't know. I don't know. At the end of, they're still yelling at each other. It's still going back and forth. It's just
very confusing.
It did. It really did. Because then Meredith starts jumping in and then Lisa's pile. Again, it was like another pylon. Like, I don't like it. I really don't like when everyone's yelling at each other for we don't even know what. And then all of a sudden, Whitney's like, okay, well, we're all good. I'm going to invite you on our trip. I was like, what? Are you at the same place?
But at least Heather called Bronwyn out on her two-facedness.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
But Whitney seemed to be okay with it because she said that she
okay with it.
She had talked to Bronwyn and that she admitted it to her. So that's interesting.
It is interesting.
Because Heather's her cousin and Heather was having her back like she was complaining that she wasn't the other day.
Right.
I don't know. Right? So we'll have to see how this whole thing turns out. And then she says how she did some research and this place has a bathtub. And then Meredith announces that she may not be able to attend, that she would let her know. Come on, Meredith. You're not missing Milwaukee. I don't care if it's in the winter. You want your screen time.
Oh, for sure.
You'll be there.
Yep, she'll be there.
And you'll come up with some other cockamamie scheme that you're going to talk about.
The fact that Whitney's overpricing her bath bombs.
Yes, there you go.
What better storyline for Meredith?
That she's been making now for how many years?
Exactly.
Like 8, as it should be making them for like 8 years.
Yeah. Yep. So ridiculous.
That's all I have for Salt Lake City. I did not get to watch What Happens Live, but you watched a little bit of it.
I did, and it was good. Angie K was on with Lance Bass. I was cooking and it was on in the background. So I don't really remember too much of what Angie K was saying, quite honestly. They did some good questions and answers, and she answered well. Like, she had to pick between Lisa and Meredith for certain things. They did ask her, who is Mary closer with right now, Lisa or Meredith? And Angie said Lisa. But Lance Bass told a very interesting story that when Sync was still touring, their very last tour, Diddy opened for them. And Andy was like, wow. And Lance Bass was like, yeah, I don't like him. He said, because after the show, we're all backstage and we overhear Diddy saying to Justin Timberlake, you got to lose these fuckers and go out on your own. What are you doing? You need to go solo. And Lance Bass was like, I just thought that was really messed up that he did that. We were all there. It was
right. Right. In front of everybody.
So Andy's response was so funny. He's like, well, I don't think Diddy's worrying about that right now.
That's true.
Like, I think he's got a little bit more to worry about right now. So you're okay. So it was funny. But
every day something new comes out. Every day.
Did you see the thing I sent you about, was it Ice Cube?
Yes.
He thinks Diddy's being set up.
Yeah, I think he's just covering his own ass.
Probably.
That's what my take on that was. But I think it's interesting that Mayor Adams, the indictment.
In New York.
Yes, in New York, which Diddy got the key to the city in New York.
Mm-hmm.
All those the chief of police in New York stepped down. The school chancellor, and I just heard
I didn't hear about that.
New York City school chancellor and Atlantic City mayor just stepped down today too. Yeah, I'm telling you,
damn.
there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on.
That's crazy.
So I don't know when we're going to do this next episode, because I don't know, like, I feel like maybe we'll just do it. We'll just pick a time and we'll do it. And then we'll do another one like we did last time.
What about Diddy?
Yeah. Because we're going to have to do an update, you know.
We're definitely going to have to do an update. There's so much.
There is a lot.
Yeah.
There is a lot. And a bunch of the people that we mentioned, because I was listening to it again, like Lucian Green, like all those people stepped down. A bunch of people we had mentioned in our podcast, they stepped down. So I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
It really is.
Oh, you know what else came out? Kim Porter's children made a statement. Did you see this?
Her kids with Diddy?
Yes.
Yeah, I think she's got one with Al B. Shore. And then
her daughter and I think it was her son made a statement. Heather McDonald, it was on the Heather McDonald podcast, made a statement that their mother did not have this tell-all memoir, and anyone says that it was their mother is wrong. Yeah. And that they have gone through a terrible time. They lost their mother. They loved their mother. And now this, you know, what's going on with their father, they're just asking, you know, to give them grace. And they were also talking about they don't have a place to live in LA. So now they're looking for a place to rent because his place was seized when they did that raid. Heather was also mentioning that he had just paid off his place in Florida for $50 million. So they could go there because that's paid off. And the reason that they found out that he did that is because supposedly in Florida, they can't take it from you.
If it's paid in full?
If it's paid in full, they can't take it. So if he has it in a trust for them.
That's probably what he did. He probably put it into a trust for his kids.
Right.
Like paid it off, but the value, you know.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. You know?
I do feel bad for his kids.
I do too. You know, nobody asks for this, right? I don't know.
Just feel like there's somebody else pulling all the strings. And I'm not saying that I don't think Diddy's guilty and that he shouldn't face consequences because he clearly has hurt a lot of people and needs to face consequences. I just feel like there's somebody else pulling the strings.
I agree. I 100% agree. I think that he's not the highest one. I think he's probably the one of the lower men on the totem pole. And I also think that this is a distraction for something else that's going on that we don't know about.
Absolutely.
So we all need to keep our eyes open.
Absolutely.
And pay attention.
Do you remember me telling you that, remember Terry lived next door to us when COVID first happened?
Mm-hmm.
And I was outside smoking a cigarette by the fence with her like we did every night. And she said that this woman came into Costco and she's like, she sounded nuts, but she said to her, this whole COVID thing, it's just a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a distraction. She goes, you wait. In the next 2 weeks, you're going to hear all about Epstein Island. And Terry was like, what the hell are you talking about? I never knew about Jeffrey Epstein before this. And she said, watch this Netflix documentary. And she did. And then she told us about it and we watched it. And that's exactly what, I mean, you know, I'm not saying that COVID wasn't I'm not trying to get political here. I'm just saying that it was crazy that this woman came in and said that at the time. And then all of a sudden, everybody knew all about Jeffrey Epstein. And then he commits suicide.
Right.
So I agree with you. I do think that this is a distraction.
It's a distraction. And I don't even know if you heard this in New York. The guy who was the COVID czar, who was giving all the recommendations, they just did a recording of him. They had this recording that they released where he was out in a bar saying that in the midst of COVID in 2020, he was out going to these sex parties, not practicing what he was out there preaching. And meanwhile, all the first responders in New York City that lost their jobs and
companies having to close
because they wouldn't get the vaccine. All these first responders who wouldn't get the vaccine,
right.
who lost their jobs because he was the one recommending it, and he was out there not following his own protocol. This just came out.
What a piece of shit.
Yep. Crazy. Like, just crazy.
Yeah. This is the world we're living in. You can't believe anybody.
No, you can't. I mean, you can believe us.
Well, yeah. We're telling the truth. Listen, we got no skin in the game.
That's true.
We're just three girls from Brick, New Jersey.
That's it.
We like to drink together and talk about stuff.
Yep. That's it. That's who we are.
That's who we are. We're wives. We're mothers. Everybody in our houses drives us fucking crazy. So this is our guilty pleasure.
Yes, this is it. All right. Until next time.
Yep. Let's end on that.
Yep. Thank you for watching and listening. Bye.
Why is it still going? I hit stop. Oh, it says stopping.
No, it just started again. This is 45:33.
Mine says stopping.
Mine's still going. Well, let me hit stop on mine. I've never hit stop before. I just hit stop.
It's still going. But it also says 99% uploading up top. Does yours say that?
No, but mine never tells me what percentage. I just will get, but I'm seeing the countdown. It says 4609, right? Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah.
My number's still going. Did my upload complete too? All right, that's weird. That is weird. All right, did Lori's friends come? Or is that tomorrow? Okay. What happens in Lakewood? All right, and so tomorrow we'll do okay. Yeah, whatever time. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'll try and watch that one on my lunch too. I've been just downloading it on my phone so that I can watch it on the go because I feel like it's my iPad. I guess I could download it on my iPad, but I use my iPad to take the notes. I type on the iPad while I watch it on the phone, so it's easier. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Well, yeah. All right. So we'll do that. All right. So we'll do it. I'll move it to Saturday. All right. That sounds good. Since we dropped Diddy today, I won't do this one. I won't do this one until tomorrow to drop for Saturday. And then Saturday we'll drop it on Monday. Right? Yeah. No. When did he pass away? Yes. Wait a second. What's Dennis's last name? Because on this Diddy podcast, you were talking about it was Andrew's birthday and that you were out with somebody and this guy is a good guy. But I deleted all that stuff. Remember when it was you wished Andrew a happy birthday? This was back on April 20th. Wasn't it? Weren't you at the Arrowhead? I think it might have been. And the only reason I know about it is because, like I said, I just re-listened to it to edit it. And I was like, oh, we don't need to talk about this. Like, we don't need to do that. I just put the Diddy stuff in. Oh, my God. Right. Just be honest with her. Right. Oh, my God. It's insane. That's insane. Isn't that our witches? What kind of jewelry party? Oh, how expensive was that? But how much was the bracelet? Was it nice? No. You don't have a job. Right. You don't have a job. Right. I have 2 jobs. I teach CCD. I fucking am the treasurer or whatever the hell you are for the basketball team. My son plays basketball. I have a husband. I have a fucking podcast. What time is that witches thing? Oh, that little fricker. It's a big cricket. Okay. And we're doing the witches, right? I pulled it out. I pulled them out. I pulled mine out because I was down in the basement today. Matt needed something for something. So I pulled it out. So, okay, that's good. And then the witches day out, we're just wearing witches hats, right? Okay. And Victoria's going there. Wait, it's at her. Where is it? It's in the town? I'm confused. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's at the campground. Oh, okay. Okay. So we can drink. Okay. And it's outside, so we'll need to dress accordingly. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, hopefully it will be. It rained. Yeah. It was not good. Saturday sounds good. Okay. Thanks, you too. Bye.